Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Lisa Williams, also known as the Vision Board Queen, and today I'm going to be joined by one of my guest experts, the lovely Faye Underhill. And we are going to be talking about personal development during this video. Hello, welcome, Faye. It's lovely to have you here on the Vision Board Blueprints today. How are you? Do you want to introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
So it's a privilege to be here, first of all. My name is Faye Underhill, and I am the founder of No Matter What. And I also specialise in personal development. And yeah, it's great to be here and be able to be on your podcast, Lisa.
Oh, thank you so much. So I've brought you on today because I wanted the first guest session that we did to be yourself. Now, I shared a few weeks back on the podcast and via the YouTube videos that you was the person that introduced me to the world of personal development. So it made perfect sense to bring you on today to talk to you about personal development and how you got started. So would you like to share with the listeners and the viewers how you got into personal development?
So, where did it start? It started around my 30th birthday, because I was feeling a little bit lost. I felt like although I'd got to the grand old age of 30, I felt like I hadn't really done much, if that makes sense. And so I was looking for something, and I came across a business online that was to do with makeup. And I thought, you know what, this could be my own little thing, not really knowing what world it would open up. And that was the point that my life changed forever. So I signed up, I dipped my toe in, put some mascara on, and then I was opened up to this whole world of training. So first of all, I was introduced to lots of stuff that's to do with business building. And then I was introduced to the world of personal development to do with yourself and how you feel about yourself. So yeah, it started, oh gosh, I'm not even going to give my age away, but it started a while ago now. So yeah, that was the beginning of it. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster. It's amazing.
So what was the first personal development book that do you remember that you read?
So the first one I read was actually Girl Code
So that's the one that you recommended to
by
me first as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
so it was Girl Code by Cara Labour. I've got my list here. Um, and yeah, so that kind of, I was like, oh, okay. And that was kind of like business and yourself and how you handle yourself in business. And obviously, with the business that I was in, it was quite a forward-facing business. You have to have that, that glow, and because that's what attracts people to you. And obviously, that's what attracted you to me, is because I was using this personal development and I was shining bright. And
You absolutely was shining bright. So what is the one book that you would say that really has changed everything? Like, have you got one that really stands out, or one thing that's worked for you that has really stood out?
so this isn't going to come as a shock to you, but The Universe Has Your Back.
Oh,
Uh,
really? See, I
was
wasn't expecting that one, if I'm honest, Faye.
Well, that was the one that was the big changer for me, because that was what really made me tap in to myself. That was the one I can remember the first time I heard it. I was driving to Worcester along a country road, and I hearing Gabrielle's words, and just really feeling them so much so I had to stop the car and have a cry. I'm a crier. Everyone knows this. I'm a crier. But there was a certain part, like, do you know what? I can't for the life of me remember now what it was. But that book made me go, this is real. Like, it's not just a book, it's not a story. Like, this is real to me. And that's the game, that was the game changer that turned it from business development to personal development. And it kind of awakened a side in me, because I consider myself a spiritual, and it kind of awakened a side of me that was like, right, let's do this for me instead of just my business.
Amazing. So it's no shock to anyone that you have had a journey to get to where you are now. It hasn't been all plain sailing and fluffy clouds and unicorns and fairy dust. I had to bring the unicorn in there. So
Yes.
it's so obviously you've had to use your personal development for a lot of these times, these curveballs, these life events that have happened. Is there anything that you would recommend for somebody who is going through that difficult time right now? Is there any maybe book or motivational person that has really helped you that you could recommend to somebody?
First of all, getting involved in your community would be 100% what I would recommend to anyone, because knowing
Thank
your
you.
story and seeing you now inspires me daily.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Faye.
So, obviously getting involved with you is a big one. A tough time. Now, because I used to have quite a negative voice in my head, I was drawn to the title of Get Over Your Damn Self.
Yeah, fab book.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and so that one really kind of jolted me out of a rut that I was in with myself. And it kind of made me stop and think, right, okay, I am being my own block right now. And so that's what that book was, another game changer, was Get Over Your Damn Self. But also I'd recommend dancing.
you're
Like,
going
I'm a
for a
big,
boogie.
absolutely, a massive part of it is, if I'm feeling rubbish, I'm going to bang on the Spice Girls and throw myself around my lounge, because it's about making that choice. So although, like, I've had dark days where I have just whacked on Spice Girls and it has helped. Like, it won't always help, but it does help you move,
Yeah.
and which will then help your physical self as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. So obviously, moving our vibrations, moving the energy frequency when we do move is an absolute great recommendation to just shift that negativity and allow our body to be more energetically moving, which is a really, really great recommendation there, Faye.
Also, I just want to say, if you aren't able to get up and dance, because not everyone is, just basically moving your body in some way to get your heart rate going will raise your vibrations. Put on some music you like and just move, on the sofa, in a chair, wherever, just move, because
Even just
that will
snapping
raise
your
your,
fingers,
yeah,
that will get you kind of
and
just
also
like
smiling
naturally.
helps as
Yeah.
well. Like, there are, all the books in the world and everything, but choose to smile.
Yeah, it's
You look
about
at yourself
making
in
those
the mirror.
choices, isn't it? If you make the choice to get up each day, like my post today, it was about writing your story. You have the pen to write your own story. So it is really down to you and what you choose. If you want to wake up in a negative place and stay in that negative place, that's your choice to do that. But if you choose today to wake up and be right, I'm going to make these changes today, and
Yeah.
this is my chance to make these changes, then that is your chance. You get to choose to do that. You get to choose to pick up that book. You get to choose to do that dance. And it is all about choices, and we all have our own choice to do that. So as I mentioned at the beginning, it was yourself that got me into the world of personal development, which I am forever grateful for. And I will always be absolutely hold you on that pedestal of, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be living the life that I'm living now,
You're
because
gonna make me cry.
I'm not going to make you cry. I was that person that was in that negative mindset. I was living that negative Nelly lifestyle. I was living the life of why me, and it was a drama-filled life that I didn't love, I didn't enjoy. And I made the choice to wake up. I made a decision to step outside of that comfort zone. And I was told to go and read a book. And I went and read the book. Now, at first, I was like, this book isn't going to do anything for me. What's this book going to do? And I remember actually reading this book, and the Girl Code book, which Faye recommended, was the one that Faye asked me to go and read first. And I remember driving to work, having it on in my car, and the work that I was in, the place of work, I absolutely hated. I was in an office on my own. The office was bigger than my living room. It was dreary. It was cold. It was negative. And I didn't like working there. I didn't like being in that life anymore. It wasn't the life that I chose for me. And reading that book, it gave me that inspiration, that motivation to make the changes that I needed to make. It gave me a fire that I was like, do you know what? I am a woman and I can do this. I am amazing and I can do this. And it was really just making that commitment to put the audiobook on rather than put the radio on. That was the one change that I had to make. Now, that didn't take any more effort. Okay. So a lot of people, say or think that when they have to work on themselves, they have to do lots of work. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. Now, like I've just mentioned, I didn't have to make much effort to make that first change. So what changes can you recommend in terms of personal growth can people do to make a start?
So when I remember way back when we used to kind of, if you weren't in the personal development world, I used to recommend trying to find at least 10 minutes a day when you're doing, so let me stop, let me pause. There are many different ways that you can access personal development. So you can access it through books, you can access it audio wise, you can access it via YouTube to watch. And through Spotify as well. You can
and podcasts.
And podcasts. I've only recently got into podcasts, but that's not for here. So yeah, there are a few different ways that you can access it. And the way I found to get it into my life was because I was starting to do steps at that point. I would plug in my Audible and I would go for a walk with my podcast. And that's how I was getting my steps in, and I was listening to the podcast. But you can do it while you're cooking dinner. You can listen to it whilst you're doing cleaning. You can do it while you're driving. And that driving is quite a good one because, you're focusing, but it was always there. I also used to listen to it whilst I was going to sleep.
Yeah.
Which
also done that as well. Yeah.
I used to find when I woke up after listening to a podcast, a book
Audible
when I was going
book,
to sleep, I'd wake up feeling happier. So, there is definitely something to be said for falling asleep to some sort of podcast. Or,
Hypnosis is really good at falling asleep too as well. Like the hypnosis and the affirmations and stuff with that. That's really good. So basically what you're saying is that listening and working on yourself is not going to add any extra time into your day.
No, basically where I started was 5-minute YouTube videos. You can find it, even if it's just, it might first be like, this is rambling rubbish. Like it's, an empowering guy, usually American, talking about, you can do this, you've got this. And yes, you may feel silly listening to it at first, but once you get used to it and once you realize just how adrenaline, I used to get so much adrenaline just from those 5 minutes of like a guy telling me I could do it. Like I didn't even know who he was or anything, so it is powerful impact. Those 5 minutes that might seem like absolute trash, actually do change a lot in your psyche,
Yeah.
you know?
One of
Like, and
my
if you're
favorite
feeling,
YouTube videos that we used to share is the Will Smith ones. They will
yes,
always stay with me. They were like super like, right, this is the day. Let's
cheesy.
do this.
Yeah,
But it's just what you need to get your day started, isn't
it's
it,
an injection,
sometimes?
which is why I've started doing the voice notes now, because I know they help people,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And so in terms of personal growth then, where do you see yourself in like 5 years' time in terms of your own personal development journey?
I see myself stronger than ever. I see, I think I wrote about it recently, I think, about how we have falls. You know, it's what you need to realize is your personal development journey is not going to be a straight line. You don't start from the bottom and you go up. It is messy AF. You are going like this, you're looping around, you're everything, but all you need to do is make that commitment to keep on trying. And I know each time that something comes, I take it as a learning opportunity to see how I can better my own personal development and how I can help others. So 5 years from now, I'm going to be fully fledged working for myself, helping thousands of people, you know, develop themselves, develop themselves to live the life that they want, you know, with a focus on their well-being and loving yourself, because that's everyone deserves a life where they love themselves and they're free from caring what other people think. And that's what personal development does. It builds you up inside so much that you can go out into that world. Anything can happen to you, but yet you come out the other side buzzing like I have today.
Amazing. So let me just ask another question. So if someone has dabbled into personal development before and they have got sidetracked, they've lost their way, what would you recommend in how to get back on track? Because I know over the time that we've been doing this journey together in the personal development world, you have had lots of sidetracks and setbacks yourself. And like you said, it hasn't always been a straight line. You have gone round in circles, you've gone up and up and all over the place. But you've always managed to bring it back. So how would you advise somebody who may be going through a difficult time or may have lost track on that side of their journey, or maybe other things have taken over? What would your advice be to help them bring it back?
Go talk to yourself in the mirror. Go and stand in the mirror and look yourself in the eye and apologize to yourself for slipping off the path that you want to be on. And then I would play one of the videos from YouTube that if you type in inspiration, you will find one of those 5-minute videos that will give that immediate injection to getting back on track. And then go back to a book that you have loved with personal development and reread it. You don't
Yeah.
have to just read something once. Go back, or even when you read it at the first time, put little post-it notes on the top of the page that really made you buzz, so that when you need that quick fix, you can go back and be like, right, I read that. That means so much to me. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
That means so much to me that it makes you want to carry on. It makes you want to keep going. And you will
Amazing.
find your buzz again, because it is there. Everyone has a fire in them. You just need to find out what fans it and what makes it bigger.
So that is an absolutely amazing tip, and it is something that I do as well. So if I do find myself going, obviously, maybe getting sidetracked or having a dip in energy, and I do go back to my one book, which is The Universe Has Your Back, and it's that every time. And it was the same when my biggest dip in my journey was I started really well. I got into a really good mindset. I started to make those changes, created my vision board, had amazing like belief in it. And then we had another miscarriage in 2018. And I was like, the universe doesn't acknowledge me, the universe isn't working for me. And I really got back into that negative place. And I was like, this doesn't work. I've spent all this time working on myself. Why have I bothered? And I really like had to have a word with myself. I had to really have a word with myself. I allowed that time to heal. But once I began through that healing, I went straight back to the universe has your back. And that is, I literally had to go back to basics to get out of that dip and back onto that path that I was on. And it does, like, if you've got one book that really resonated with you or really helped you, I would absolutely go back to that if you're ever feeling like I need a shake. I need a wake up call.
It's also very important to recognize that tough times happen because, you know, like we said, it's not always sunshines and rainbows. It's about affording yourself that time to heal with whatever's happened. And I think a lot of the time in the past when things have happened, I've not allowed that healing time, which makes the climb even harder. Like with what's happened recently, I've allowed myself time away from everything to heal. And that's why I've come back 10 times stronger, because I have built myself up in that time again to where I was when I left off, if that makes sense. And this time it has got a shorter amount of time. Normally it'd be like a month I'd disappear for, but it's only been 5 days. And now I feel like I'm ready to go again, because it is about giving yourself that time and being kind to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do need to be more kind to ourselves, you know, and that is something that personal development is going to teach you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go, Faye, what would you like to leave the audience with to keep them motivated to make those changes for themselves?
You deserve it. You 100% deserve the life that you dream of. And if you make that commitment and you have that determination and you are surrounded by those who can help you, you will get it 100%, no matter what.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, Faye, for being our guest today. I have absolutely loved having you. And I will drop the details for Faye into the comments so that you can go over and follow Faye at No Matter What, where you will find an absolutely goal person for that motivation. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this week's YouTube video. I just wanted to share with you a few ways that you can work with me. If you have enjoyed the content here, please do hit that subscribe button, as it really does mean that we can get these videos out there supporting people with their dreams and desires. And here you will see 3 ways that you can work with me. I have a Vision Board Academy. I do offer a VIP day, and I do have 12-month coaching packages. These are ways that you can help bring your dreams to reality with support, direction, and accountability to bring your dreams to life.